Hey everybody, I'm back and we're doing something a little different. As the title would suggest, I'm going to review every single episode of Hazbin Hotel, though I may kind of squish a couple episodes together depending on how I'm feeling, or if the episode is a nothing episode and I don't feel like there's much going on. So yeah, but this is more of just like me rambling, getting all my thoughts out, and because I do that a lot, but this time I really want to just focus on my thoughts and eventually have a conversation with you guys once the show is complete and see how the hype lived up, how the show lived up. What did you particularly like or didn't like? Just a fun way for all of us to talk about the story, the lore, vent out some stuff and, just have fun with it. So let's get into it, okay? I'm gonna recap a little bit of episode 1. I say a little bit, but you all know. So first episode of Hazbin Hotel. Let's do this. But first, can you believe it's been almost 5 years since the pilot dropped? Man, don't we all feel old. Anyway, the episode starts with a big exposition dump of how Lilith and Lucifer meet and how hell was created, which I should say I like the animation style used to tell what happened, but it's honestly a lot for a first episode. It makes me appreciate the subtlety of the pilot. I know a lot of episodes like to do this, eons ago, or there was once, they like to do one of those, but sometimes it can just be a lot, plus I feel those kind of episodes are really valuable later on in the series. But yeah, also I know some of you guys have asked this numerous times or brought it up in some conversations, but Viv has said since day one God was never going to be a part of the show, so the angels making Adam and Lilith, though weird, does help fill in some blanks though I do want to point out that the backstory for Lucifer feels oddly familiar. It kind of gives Good Omen vibes when Crowley was an angel. If you know, you know. But anyway, after the Lilith and Lucifer info dump and small hints to Lilith's possible bigger role, we move on to Charlie and Vaggie chatting about the extermination, and we do learn that everything taking place is happening after the pilot, exactly 1 week. So hell is just naturally in a constant disarray. Charlie, Vaggie, and Alistair talk about the commercial he made and how it's bad, which it kind of is, but it's Al, so I can't fault him for that. Plus, it kind of feels like it's Charlie and Vaggie's fault for thinking the radio demon would make a good commercial for them. We get more info on what they're trying to do, and it's kind of weird since Al's commercial had a lot of info dumping, and now we have Vaggie doing the same thing. It's just a lot of telling and not showing, but either way, we move on to the next character, Angel Dust, stating he can bring more people to the hotel with his special skills, and we get quick nods to the pilot with his little speech and a retelling of the I can suck your dick joke. This time though, Angel just says that if he and Al go at it for the commercial, it'll get people running to the hotel, only for Al to say, not gonna happen. Angel goes on a tangent for a bit, and Charlie gets a phone call from her dad asking if she'll meet Adam for him, which the dialogue phrases it kind of weird. It makes it seem like Adam wants to meet Charlie, but no, he wanted to meet with Lucifer, but Lucifer asked Charlie to go in his place instead. During this phone call, we do get a little bit more info dumping from Vaggie and Husk, who we finally actually get to hear for once, because all the trailers didn't really include him until the early access episodes. Not much is really said. It's another one of those just vague info dumps, and we move on to Charlie getting excited and talking to Vaggie, and then we get our first song of the episode, and it's not bad. Obviously, there's some lines that confuse me, specifically where Charlie questions if angels have hearts, like, ma'am, your dad's an angel and you're kinda a part angel. What do you mean you don't know? Either way, the song is really good. It's given big Tangle vibes, and I am a big Tangled the series girl, so yeah, I loved it. But during the song, we get a fun look at a few spots in hell that we'll probably visit in the upcoming episodes, so it was really nice to see. Anyway, Charlie gets to the meeting point, aka this giant church clock tower thingy. It's really hard to explain what it is, but the visuals are really cool. I like how muted the waiting room is and how the sign-in sheet is a golden scroll. The office room is really nice, and man, it really makes Charlie stand out like crazy. Even Adam stands out since his colors are mostly white and yellow, but either way, he stands out. Either way, they talk, or I guess Adam talks, since every time Charlie gets to talking about her plan, but also kind of forgetting that Adam asked Lucifer to be there, so there was obviously something important that Adam was going to say, but Charlie's got a one-track mind and doesn't even think to ask. But then again, Adam also doesn't really bring it up at all. He's just like have lunch with me. It's just really weird. Like, the conversation is not great either. Adam is basically a really dumb version of Andrew Tate and just keeps talking over Charlie, along with saying dick a lot. But while Charlie and Adam are talking, we go back to the hotel where Vaggie wants to remake the commercial for Charlie, and it goes as you'd expect. Everyone has a hard time doing what they need to do. Husk reads from the script, which I feel him on that. Angel goes way too far into acting sexy, and Niffty just stares at the camera and says nothing, which did make me laugh. I did find that really funny. Meanwhile, Charlie's still dicking around with Adam, only to learn his name and put two and two together on who he is, aka her mom's ex. She then again tries to tell her plan for rehabilitating sinners, but Adam isn't getting it, so we cut back to Vaggie watching clips of all the bad footage, and Alistair berates and info dumps on how he enjoys watching people fail. Vaggie counters him that if no one shows up, then he has no one to watch, which is a very good argument. Vaggie, way to go. So Alistair then asks to make a deal to actually help, and in return is never asked to help with TV stuff again. Vaggie agrees and they make the commercial. We don't really get to see it, and again we cut back to Charlie finally telling Adam her plan. He obviously thinks it's silly, and we learn that Charlie and Hellborns have a pardon from the extermination. And this is where it kind of bugs me a little bit, because Lute's line of dialogue makes it seem that because of this, Charlie doesn't matter, which, I'd say she does matter. She has a pardon from this. Her people are the ones who don't matter. They don't get that luxury to avoid not being killed, like... Either way, Charlie tries to explain her idea, and Adam cuts her off, and we get the second song of the episode, and I'll be real, it's not bad, yeah, but it's not gonna be my top 10s. Like, the first half of it is just not for me, but the last half I actually did really like. I really loved that they incorporated, like, more choir in the background, you know, like, that last bit is what I really, really liked. The first half, not so much. But yeah, it's just a lot of Adam saying no, and a quick info dump of the Angels moving the extermination to 6 months. Charlie is devastated, as she should be, and returns to the hotel. Vaggie is excited and asks if they listen, and Charlie tries to explain, but Vaggie gets too excited and takes Charlie to watch the commercial. It's honestly a really sweet moment of all of them together, and Charlie being surprised they did that for her, only for it to get interrupted by Brandon Rogers, Katie Killjoy. I don't want to talk about it. And they announce the extermination is moved up. Everyone is upset, and Angel of all characters asks why. And we immediately get our answer. Adam and Lute find an Angel's body that was killed during the extermination, and Heaven is obviously not going to be thrilled, as it's never happened before. And this kind of implicates that a war is going to be started. However, you know, the trading cards also kind of spoiled that. So, yeah. Anyway, then the episode ends, and that's it. Whew. So, yeah, the episode was fine. Again, I like the different animation style for Lilith and Lucifer's backstory. It's similar to the pilot's paper puppet style, which I always really liked, but I do feel it was probably not needed for the first episode, because if you didn't watch the pilot, then this would be your first introduction to the characters, and just like the pilot, we kind of speed run everyone's intro, and I'm just gonna say it, Niffty again feels really left out with the cast. Like, she's part of the main cast for sure. It's just like there's not really much going on for her. Plus, she didn't get hardly any lines, but neither did Husk. So, but maybe the next few episodes will change that, since I actually find her incredibly funny, and I really just want to see her interact with the characters a little bit more than how she's doing. But yeah, the episode felt kind of bloated with so much going on, and the extra bit of backstory along with the angels finding a, which I truly wish the discovery of the dead angel was kept hidden for a bit longer. That way the audience can enjoy the more character focused episodes, but also try and guess why the extermination was moved up. I mean, Adam did give Charlie a bit of a reason, even if it was a lie. Either way, I wish some stuff had been slowed down and we got to have the characters be characters characters, or at the very least have them show us what their jobs are. I recently watched Rebel X's review, I hope I said that right, and I really like his idea of having the episode have a guest come to the hotel and be scared off by the cast because they're bad at their jobs. It's honestly a really smart way to show the cast's job and personalities far more than them just arguing and disappearing for a bit and then talking about the same things over and over again. I also wish we didn't give so much time to Charlie and Adam. I know it was the A plot of the episode, but it was just a lot of nothing. I feel the B plot of the cast trying to make the commercial should have been longer and more the focus. Like every time Charlie says something about the hotel, we go to the cast doing something awful or doing the opposite of what she says. But I digress. I will say the animation has improved since the pilot. However, and you can think I'm being nitpicky, but I really wish the characters stayed on model for more than a few seconds. Like, yes, Steven Universe went off model too, but one, they did it on purpose because the team was constantly being rotated, and two, they did stay on model during the episodes, so no one was changing every second. Like, I understand Bento Box, Spindle Horse, and another unnamed studio in Australia were used to make the show, so yeah, 3 possible studios all working on this probably wasn't the best idea, since the 2 studios probably needed some time to learn the style while Spindle Horse just does what it does. And in all honesty, I want to kind of put the blame on Spindle Horse because, you know, they do kind of tend to go off model a lot, and Bento Box is, it sounds bad to say it this way, but Bento Box is technically more reliable studio for stuff like that. I mean, but then again, they outsource their stuff, so I can't fault all 3 studios, and I can't fault one studio as well. So it's just like, some stuff might have been handled better if done a little differently, is what I'm gonna say. But it's not all bad. There are really good scenes of animation, so it's a good 50-50 of, ooh, what happened? And, oh, that's so pretty. I think like my number one issue would be the camera panning shots and the constant zoom in and out and low shots and high shots. Like it would be fine if it didn't happen back to back. Like, it almost feels like comic panel shots, but it kind of makes watching it hard, especially during Charlie's musical number. I had to stop and take a moment a few times. Like, it's just a lot. It's kind of like those handheld movies, but instead of the person holding the camera as best they can, it's a wacky photographer that can't sit still. You know what I mean? And the voices. While I still prefer the pilot actors, I do think Niffty, Angel, and Charlie were great choices. They sound similar to the OGs, but have their own flares. My only true issue with Angel is the accent. You can hear him slip sometimes, but it's not super noticeable compared to Alistair. I know the VA chosen was who Viv wanted originally, but for some reason, I just can't seem to get used to it. Like, the lack of nasal undertones, plus the less higher pitch when excited just makes my brain not understand. He also kind of suffers from the accent slip as well. Really bothers me. I wish they just kept it on all the time, or just when he got angry, because the constant on and off just bugs me. And just to be clear, I'm very sensitive to sound, especially voices, and after so many years of working in audio type spaces, I've picked up a weird habit of analyzing voices. So it's not that I think the VAs are doing a bad job, it's just their voices don't match, or the direction given isn't giving what it needs to. Like Husk, for example, I adore Keith. I think he's amazingly talented. I just find his voice to be too smooth for Husk. Like, the low tones of his voice are close, but for a 70-year-old alcoholic with jaded views on the world, a buttery smooth voice is not what I thought was going to come out. It's probably going to take me longer to get used to, especially since he didn't have a lot to say this episode as well. Vaggie was fine, a little too monotone for me, especially when she was singing along with Charlie, but there were times where Vaggie's voice felt more lived in, so maybe the rest of the season, Vaggie will grow on me. I will say I was pretty surprised by some of the jokes in the show. I actually laughed at a few of them, though the parts with Adam, I didn't find all that funny. I had kind of hoped he wouldn't curse, being an angel and all, but all the dick jokes just seemed forced. I would have loved to see Adam work around cussing similar to the Cherubs, but just darker, since nothing's more unnerving than a traditional Christian man trying to say the most backward and offensive things while not saying a single cuss. Anyway, story-wise, it was fine. More exposition dumping than I'm used to, but the added moving up of the extermination will be a good way to keep track of the show's timeline. I am curious with how the Dead Angel storyline turns out, but after reading a few things about it, I'm not so sure. Plus, I'm kind of confused on what it is that Charlie's fighting for, since Adam and Lute give off this vibe that heaven is bad. Plus, she knows her dad was excluded a lot in Heaven's plans, and then tossed out of heaven after offering the apple. Like, the book makes it seem like he didn't know evil would make its way to Earth, but who's to say the book is even telling the truth? All in all, the info pretty much implies heaven is bad and hell is bad. So why does Charlie think heaven is a great place? Because in all honesty, it kind of seems like they keep souls out on purpose to avoid their own overpopulation. I mean, look how small their planet is. But you know what? We will see in the future. Maybe. I hope. I really hope. I still had some fun watching, and the songs did make me smile, so I'd give Hazbin Hotel episode 1 a 6 out of 10. It was fun. I enjoyed a few things here and there, but there is still room for improvement. This is the first episode after 5 years, so of course it's gonna be a little all over the place. Whew, this was weird. It's kind of strange not redesigning or drawing much while I talk about the show. Like, is it weird? It feels like it's weird. But yeah, I kind of plan to just make these when I have time so we can all discuss, as these reviews are based on my opinions and thoughts, and I want to hear yours. A lot of you have great ideas and theories and dig much harder than I do, since I've decided not to be as invested with Hazbin and Hell of a Boss anymore, so I'm curious how the first episode was for y'all. Anyway, next video is going to be Lilith, and then my review for episode 2 and 3, so look out for that. But yeah, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Really helps out the channel and me. I hope you all have a super fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Also, please enjoy me shooting back shots every single time Charlie's hair floated off into the ether. He's so stupid. Oh, wow. I love it. Ah, Charlie's hair again. Jesus Christ. Oof. Baggy's bangs, dude, man. Jesus. Yeesh. Okay. Baggy's bangs! Baggy's bangs! Error. It was actually an error. Right? Bangs again. Because I was Baggy's bangs. Oh, wait. Baggy's bangs!
Dude, it's really bad at 9:12, right when Baggy and Charlie are mid-twirling. You can see the bang is just sitting on top of her head.
It really is. It's just like... I gotta take so many screenshots. Jesus Christ. So I'm confused. Like, why is this imp doing this? And then Charlie's hair. Jesus Christ.
Because, like, imps also live on the Pride Ring.
It's like, whew. Whew. Oh god, yep, there it is. That is... Why? Why does it look like that? Jesus. Bye!